Hey, what's up? Thanks so much for tuning into Weekend Showcase. My name is Donn Shannon, and with me today is my good friend and colleague, Raina. How you doing, Raina?
I'm doing well today. How are you doing, Don?
Cool. I'm doing well, thank you. And good to see you again, by the way. You rocking what's usually Tim's color today. That's
I
interesting.
know this blue. It's a royal
Yeah.
blue. I
Well, it's a
love
good
it.
look. Well,
Yeah,
it's a
Blue
good
was
look. It's
good.
a good look. And that is a familiar voice to regulars here on this Weekend Showcase channel. That's our interview subject today is another returning friend of the show, Mr. Xango Henry. Xango, can you see and hear me okay?
Oh, yes, I can.
Cool, cool. Welcome back. Good to see you again, man. How you doing?
Thank you. Thank you. I'm awesome. Thanks for having me.
Cool. So I wanted to go ahead and talk with you for a little while, sort of picking up where you and I left off with the last interview that was talking about your acting career. And I wanted to go ahead and take this opportunity to shift gears into your music career as a rapper. Can you talk to us about your musical background and how you became involved in the music industry?
I met a gentleman who I knew, a young man working at the gym, and I told him that I had an interest in rapping for the purpose of getting greater numbers for social media, that I would be more recognized and therefore get bigger movie roles, as was recognized by Ice-T and LL Cool J and others. So that's when I began. And from there, he introduced me to this gentleman who I purchased some tracks from, some beats, and I did my first track, Dear Son. I wanted that to be my first message to be to my children, who me and their mother has been separated, and to give my message in that first song somewhat of what was going on. And then from there, this same gentleman knew other artists in the business like Sugar Free and the Dog Pound and DJ Quick. So I asked him who he thought he could connect me with, because if you connected with somebody that's already running, a man told me once, if you want to be rich, you got to run with people with money.
Mm-hmm.
So you get with somebody that's already running. So he was able to get to Snoop's cousin, which is RBX, which means righteous born unknown.
Hmm.
And he gave me a track and we did that. We met, and then, I just kept rapping and started doing shows, and then I did another one with him, and the rest is history. I just kept performing, trying to learn the business. I still don't consider myself in the business, because you don't know what the real business is until you get higher up in the business, meaning start doing things that people who are productive in the business is doing. Like where I'm doing now versus 5 years ago, the media platforms for music wasn't really there. SoundCloud was, Apple always was around, but not like it is now, where it's all about streaming and it's all about getting your music out, a lot of it, as much as possible. That wasn't the case
Well, you're
back then.
still well, you're still at least like, music industry adjacent at the very least. Like, this is not your first song per se. Like, you've been around enough of the right people, and you're making all these different moves and putting yourself out there, putting your name out there, putting your brand out,
Oh,
and it
absolutely.
seems
No,
to
I
be
wasn't
generating a
saying
whole heck of a
anything.
lot of traction these days.
It is. It is. No, I wasn't saying anything to the negative about what was what. No, it's very, 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 very good. I come along at a very good time, actually.
Right.
It's always good. You have to know when, how to play.
Mm-hmm.
It
Right.
just changed the rules. They still rocking. Just
Mm-hmm.
got to know the rules to play the game.
Absolutely. I wanted to go ahead and shift things over to Raina for these next few questions. Raina, you still here?
Yes, I'm here. And I love what you just said. I've been in the industry as far as like music wise on the business end for some time now, for a long time, more of a writer. And so you said something very key about streaming and how we're in a time of streaming. It's awesome. Right now is such an awesome time in which you said it, to be in music. You just have to know how to play the game the right way, basically. But it's easier now to be independent as an artist, and do things streaming wise. I mean, you can right now, as opposed to like, I say even early 2000s, it wasn't the same in music, where you could, go on certain platforms and have your music distributed to every streaming platform.
Right.
So with that being said, so it seems like, you have a good outlook on where you're at musically right now and what you can do musically as far as social media is concerned and your connections are concerned, and just being around the right people at the right time. So my next question to you would be, when it comes to lyrically, how are you inspired lyrically as far as writing and yes, as far as like your writing and really getting into your creative modes?
I'm inspired, one, by the life that I have lived, which has been very challenging. And I haven't lived it by myself. So that includes everybody else. So the life that I've lived and I experienced, there it is. That's a whole lot. I'm over 50, so I got a lot to write right there.
Right.
Then the life that I'm looking at in front of me, there's more. Now that's just from what's in front of me to write from. But because I'm an inspired man, then the music inspires me to write. I can sit down and say, you know what, I want to write about earthquakes. And I could do that. It would take me a while to complete that song. It would take me much longer than I said, I want to write about earthquakes. Give me a beat. Give me a beat. Give me a beat. They give me a beat and I'll be like, yeah, earthquakes. Boom, boom. They come as heavy. Boom, boom, earthquake, right? Earthquake shaking, yeah. Earthquake shaking, yeah. Shake.
So with that being said, when you listen to a certain beat that's been produced, like you said, the music inspires you itself. So when you're listening to music, would you say you're more so, when it comes to that part of, like I said, listening to music, you listen and then you get a feel for what you would like to write? Is that more something, would you say that you're more of a write the lyrics first type of person, then hear the beat, or hear the beat and then you come up with your scenarios, you get inspired, and you can even visualize a music video? And
truly, see, depending upon the emotional state of my heart is what's going to come out when I hear certain music. So if I'm in a happy mood and if I hear a certain beat, that's going to inspire me, and that gives me the freedom to express myself much more freer than trying to make myself write a thing. You follow what I'm saying? And being an artist, I don't know. I didn't know you had limitations on your show of what could be said and not, because I'm an artist and I need freedom of expression.
Right.
And what I just said about earthquakes, and so that's part of that's what I would write about. I'm not limited of what I could write about or what I would rap about or what I would express about, because it's all going to be good. It's not destructive. I was just gonna give a little scenario, but here anyway. And then there's several aspects of to me of life, and which I see as four. You have what some people call gangster rap, and I would say gangster conscious.
Right.
So since the brothers are gangster and we soldiers and want to be hard, but let's not be gangsters on each other, but let's be consciously strong, consciously hard, aware of who you are and your fellow man, your fellow woman, your fellow human being, and be strong in that knowledge like that.
Then you have your,
yes.
I'm sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Then the other three, you have your love songs. That's another genre. And then you have your straight conscious songs. So my love songs like Call Me or every inch sliding in. My conscious songs is Black Boy Tears or Black Boy Rising Star. And my dance music is What You Gonna Do with That. That's my hottest one. Now what you gonna do with that? So those four, you can't put me in a box and say I'm a conscious rapper, or I'm a gangster rapper, or I'm a hip hop dance rapper. I would like to reach us wherever we are, because I'm not doing it for the sake of rapping, because if it can't make a difference, then there's no sense in doing it to me. It's all vanity.
This is very true. You actually answered the next question I was going to ask you, is what message do you want to convey in your music? And you hit it right on the nail on the hammer, basically, where a lot of times there's the rappers that want to. I was just having a conversation with a friend of mine, and we were talking about a lot of the uproar that's been going on with certain rappers right now, regarding comments that they're making in their music. And we were saying how there are several rappers who are always talking about killing our women, our children, taking another man's life, in which these are your brothers, your sisters, some of them your fan base, and it's literally a lot of gangster talk. And the message that is being put out into the world is honestly a lot of times with some rappers that not only do we not care about, do they not care about themselves, but their own, and anybody could get it type of thing. And conscious rap, I love conscious rap, by the way. And so I'm glad you brought that up. Conscious rap, and there's like you said, conscious gangster rap basically is what category somewhat put it in, where it's almost more so of a, I guess when you say gangster conscious rap, it's more a direct way of being conscious and awake in being more conscious and awake in your lyrics and bringing forth something that needs to be addressed in our communities and musically, but doing it in a way, I guess you would say, like what they would call a stern talking to, but it's
sending a message without sacrificing your brand, I guess is what I'm hearing. Is that a correct sort of encapsulation?
Well, it really depends. It depends. Like Kendrick Lamar example. Okay. He's a conscious rapper, but he talks about a lot like the hardships of growing up in LA, or just a lot of things. He talks about a lot of things. And I don't know if you know who D Smoke is.
I've heard that name.
He's awesome. Also another conscious rapper, but comes from a place of like having a hard background, a hard upbringing, but it's being more conscious in the message that they're putting out. And with a fan base that basically eats that stuff up, you have to be intentional in what you're doing lyrically, musically. If you have that platform, why not use it to bring light to a certain situation, circumstances, things that promote growth, and all the cool stuff that come up being an artist. When you have that platform, why not use it in the most amazing ways that you can? Which is your Dear Son. I was listening to Dear Son. I was like, that's the one I wanted to know where that came from. And you explained that in the beginning. So I'm glad that you touched on that first. And then next, because also as far as with Dear Son, talking to a son from a father's standpoint, that was awesome to hear, by the way. I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that. So
that's something I wanted to say in reference to you mentioning the gangster rap, and they talk about the killing and stuff. And a quick observation, you look at the rappers who are now over 40, the ones who are talking about killing, they're new. And
they're new.
They're now making money. They now have money. So they don't talk that. They don't have nothing to prove. They're not trying to be tough. When you come out, it's like you're challenging me. So when you're young, I know, because as a mature man, the people that challenge me with their eyes and their body language are younger men of all races. And it's the younger men who are creating, I mean, young men for war, older men for counsel. So they have that spirit, but they don't have guidance and direction. So not only is you gangster conscious or conscious rap talking about it, because personally, I'm tired of the talk. The thing is, now we got to include in the rap is the solution in the rap. Talking about it, we see that. Another brother dead. DMX, rest in peace, God. Rest in peace, God. Another one dead. But what are we going to do to stop it? Let's put that language in there as well. And I would say, you follow me? So you'll find that in most aspects of life, it's the younger ones who are more challenging, and the more, like you say, anybody can get it. Because once they do get that money, they say, wait a minute, I don't want to be no killer. I want to enjoy this. And you got little babies now, your wife, y'all can eat like you never ate and go where you want to go and live in. Who wants to fight and kill somebody now? They don't.
And that's the point
from that.
Right. And that's the point where they sort of like hop over to the other side of that fence, where they shift from that quest to get to the top to all of a sudden, what do you have to do to maintain? It's a whole different thought space that you have to enter.
Right, how you touched on it's the younger ones. I love to see it. The Jay-Z's, the Dre's, the Ice Cubes, the just the list goes on, that are now even 50 Cent is a lot of interesting things. However, he is a businessman. A lot of these men that were the rappers that were talking all the mess. I love music, so I could talk like this all day. But the ones that are older now, that were, you know, in my era of early 2000s hip hop that I loved. I'm a huge late 90s, early 2000s hip hop fan, or early 90s East Coast. But they are now influencers on the business side of things. I'm really glad that we get to interview and talk with you today, because I love music.
I'm glad to have a chance. Thank you.
Yeah.
Right. And I enjoy talking to other creatives, and everyone's creative journey and way to creativity and through creativity is different. And so it's always a good talk when you can touch bases on a creative level.